Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Jai Shri Shri Radha Govinda Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Oh, glories to the assembled devotees. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Which verse? 8? I was told 9. Anyway. Okay, we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 13, The Appearance of Lord Varaha, Text 8. Tad videhi namastubhyam karmas idyatma shaktishu yat kritveha yasho visvat Amutra cha bhavet gati Tad videhi namastubhyam Karmas idyatma shaktishu Yat kritveha yasho vishvak Yat kritveha yasho Amutra cha bhavet gati Advidehi namastubhyam
Karmas vidyatma shaktishu Yat videha yasho vishvak Amutra cha bhavekati
Tat videhi namastubhyam Karmasva idatma shaktishu Yat kritveha yasho vishvak Amutra cha bhavet gati
Amutra cha bhavet gati Tadvidehi namastubhyam Karma siddhyatma shaktishu Yat kritveha yasho vishvak Amutra cha bhavet gatihi Tadvidehi namastubhyam Karma siddhyatma shaktishu Yat kritveha yasho vishvak Amutra cha bhavet gatihi Tadvidehi namastubhyam Karma siddhyatma shaktishu Chababet gati Matajis Vehi namastubhyam Karma siddhyatma shaktishu Yat kritveha yasho vishvak cha bhavet. That videhi, give direction. Namaha, my obeisances. Tubhyam, unto you. Karmasu, in duties. Idya, O worshipful one. Atma Shaktishu, within our working capacity. Yat, which Kritva, doing. Iha, in this world. Yasaha, fame. Vishvak, everywhere. Amutra, in the next world. Cha, and Bhavet, it should be. Gatihi, progress. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace by Charan Arvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. O worshipful one, please give us your direction for the execution of duty within our working capacity, so that we can follow it for fame in this life and progress in the next. Purport. Brahma is the direct recipient of Vedic knowledge from the personality of Godhead, and anyone discharging his entrusted duties in disciplic succession from Brahma is sure to gain fame in this life and salvation in the next. The disciplic succession from Brahma is called the Brahma Sampradaya, and it descends as follows. Brahma, Narada, Vyasa, Madhva Muni, Purnapragya, Padmanabha, Nrihari, Madhava, Akshobhya, Jayatirtha, Jnana Sindhu, Dayanidhi, Vidyanidhi, Rajendra, Jayadharma, Purushottama, Brahmanya Tirtha, Vyasa Tirtha, Lakshmipati, Madhavendra Puri, Ishvara Puri, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Swarup Damodar, and Sri Rupa Goswami and others. Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Krishna Das Goswami, Narottam Das Thakur, Vishwanatha Chakravarti, Jagannath Das Babaji, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Gaura Kishore Das Babaji, Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. Try. This line of disciplic succession from Brahma is spiritual, whereas the genealogical succession from Manu is material. But both are on the progressive march towards the same goal of Krishna consciousness. O worshipful one, please give us your direction for the execution of duty within our working capacity, so that we can follow it for the fame in this life and progress in the next. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayati grimet kripa tamahavande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam. So the soul, the self is always active. We are inherently active by nature. There are many people who think that we're active in our conditioned life, and when we attain liberation, then somehow or other we become so happy there is nothing else to do. It's completely inactive. This is their idea of happiness and bliss. Of course, this is not the case. Unfortunately, it's not the case. It's not true. There are Astika and Nastika philosophies. These are the different Vedic schools of philosophy. And even amongst the Astika means that they accept the Vedas, and Nastikas are those who don't accept the Vedas. These are the Buddhists, the Jains, Charvakas, different people who reject the Vedas, and they're called atheists just because they reject the Vedas. Although they may speak about God also, some of them. Well, most of them don't even speak about God. So, and among the Astikas even, these are the 6 Vedic schools, even amongst them, Sankhya and Vaisheshika, they think that the soul the soul can be active only when it is connected to matter. When it attains liberation, it's again inactive, in happy, so-called happy nothingness. Therefore, these are different aspects of the Mayavada philosophy, actually, and therefore the Vaishnavacharyas, they say that the Mayavadis are actually covered Buddhists, because this idea of Brahman is actually very similar to the Shunya, the concept of voidness, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi. So we are active not only here in our conditioned state, but we are active in the spiritual world also, after liberation. Krishna, in Bhagavad Gita, he explains that Nahi kaschit kshanam api jato tishtatiya karma krit karete hi avasa karma sarva prakriti jargunar. Here in the material world, we cannot stop working even for a moment. Why? Because we are pushed forcefully by the three gunas. We are all attached to certain combination of the gunas. Somebody is in sattva, somebody is in rajas, somebody is in tamas. So we are actually always in the mixture of those. So we are pushed and we have to helplessly act. Nobody can stop acting. And here, this is the case. And after liberation, then we are in the spiritual world, the pure devotees, the residents of Vaikuntha and Goloka Vrindavan, they also are always active. Why? Because they are also pushed and they are forced to act because of pure love and affection. If you like somebody, if you love somebody, then you want to show this love by action, right? This idea of you just, I have so much love that I just sit and meditate. But object of your love needs to be served. If you actually have love, then you'll serve. So they are also very active. So and here, even here in the material world, even here, if we always want to do something, right? We always want to move. It's natural. We want to move from point A to point B. If we don't move our body, like now, we're all sitting, but still the body has to move from time to time, otherwise it becomes uncomfortable, even in this sense. So we always trying to move the grass on the other side of it's greener, you know. So we want to attain goals in life, even in material life. So if we don't move, if we're not active, then we will not be able even to maintain this material body. So we always, and in the spiritual life also, we have to constantly be active. This is actually the definition of Krishna consciousness, is action with our senses, which is in pursuance of the previous authorities, and we are trying to please Krishna. So it is not idle meditation. So we are always active, moving forward, materially and spiritually. And this is called Abhideya, right? The process of devotional service. We have Sambandha, which means there is definition of the field of activity. It means material nature, God and the soul. This is the Sambandha Gyan. And then we have the goal, which is Prayojana. And then how to attain the goal, this is Abhideya. This is the process. And the focus in sadhana bhakti is on although we are aware of Sambandha and Prayojana, the focus is on Abhideya. So we are supposed to actively use our senses in devotional service. That's the funny thing about in the material world, once you attain the goal, Prayojana, there is a short moment when you're satisfied, and then your goal moves back to your field of activity. So Prayojana moves back to Sambandha and becomes part of your field, and then you have to attain you have to go for something else. You're not happy. So we are moving forward, we are trying to attain our goals, and in this process of constant dynamic activity, there are people who are better in attaining their goals, right? There is natural hierarchy. There are people who are moving faster and people who are moving slower. And there is always this triangle, most of people are at the bottom, and when you go up, there are less and less people, and therefore, people complain about 1% of the population holding how much, like 70% of the wealth or something like that. I'm not sure about the statistics exactly. So people call this, I think it's called Baridu principle. And in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says the same thing. Manushanam sahasreshu kaschityatati sidaya. Out of many, many millions, billions of living entities, only very few are striving for liberation. And amongst those who have attained liberation, very, very few know me in truth. So it's the same principle, very few. And many at the bottom. So this is natural hierarchy, and this hierarchy is scientifically explained. The only actually real scientific explanation of this is varnashrama. So therefore we have different grades of, actually sometimes they're described as different human species, like you have the brahmanas, kshatriyas, vaishyas, shudras, and they're different. At the same time we are equal, right? Because we're all spirit souls, and we are, Krishna loves us in the same way. Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, he says, Named veshyusti nat priyaha, yebhajanti tamam bhakta, mai teteshu chapyaham. I don't, not veshyu, I'm not envious, I don't hate anybody, particularly. Krishna is not hateful, and nobody is particularly dear to me. Still, those who render service to me, they are my friends, and they are in me and I am in them. So we are equals, and at the same time there is hierarchy, natural hierarchy. And you have people who are, the brahmanas, they are closer to viraja, to the spiritual world, because they have knowledge and organization, they have these natural qualities of the brahmanas. They are Shama Dhamma Tapasha Ucham Kshanti Rajavam Evacha, etc. Jnanam Vijnanam Astikyam, Brahma Karma Svabhavajam. So they're tolerant, they are religious, they are pure, they have knowledge and wisdom, renunciation, etc. So they are on the top of the social hierarchy. And then you have the Kshatriyas, who have basically the same qualities, but they have little more passion, which allows them to be more involved in the material affairs. The Brahmanas know the law, and they preach, they give knowledge, and the Kshatriyas also, therefore they're called Rajarshis. But the Kshatriyas, they have the desire to directly apply the law in day-to-day life, even if with force if necessary. The Brahmanas would not do that. So then you have the Vaishyas, and then the Shudras, and then the... so all this, it's a hierarchy, different grades of people. So we are equal, and we are also not equal. Of course, because this is samsara, it's a wheel, it's a chakra. So even if you are on the top position as a Brahmana, then what happens? Brahmanas, they are on the top, they are very advanced, and then there is some pride, and pride already means ignorance. So they are supposed to be in sattva guna, but of course, in the material world, sattva is always tinged with passion and ignorance. But when this ignorance becomes more, then pride kicks in, and then from this top position, there is fall down because of pride. He commits some offense, and then we have to go back and then become Shudra again. So it shouldn't be taken too seriously, all these positions. At the same time, they're important because they allow the society to function properly. So we have to move forward, and in moving forward there is a natural hierarchy. So people who are on the top, these are our gurus. That's the whole point. So therefore here, and in the next couple of verses, what's happening is that here there is the disciple approaches the guru, right? O worshipful one, please give us your direction for the execution of duty. That's a position of Tad vidi pranipatana pariprasthana sevaya upadikshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshana. With humility, with amanitvam adambitvam, with proper mood, the disciple approaches the guru. So the guru is the teacher in the material and the spiritual sphere, is the person who has knowledge and realization. And we don't have other way to advance in life except approaching guru, even if you want material advancement. People go still to school, they have to accept authority. Now that people are so, in modern world, contemporary society, they're so proud that they're independent, but they have to follow authority. It's just material authority. If you want to get PhD, you have to follow your mentor, right? And if you don't do what he tells you, you don't get the degree. That's simple as this. So the same principle applies everywhere. Prahlad Maharaj explains that there's these famous verses, Matirna Krishna Paratasvatova mito vipadyata griha vratanam Adanda Gobri Vishtam Tamistram Punah Punah Charvita Charvananam. One cannot attain Krishna with his own endeavor, with the help of others. That means materialistic help, material persons, not spiritual, not the guru, or with the combined effort. What is the only way to attain Krishna? Prahlad Maharaj says, Naisham matistavat purukramangrim spirshatya anartha pagamo yadartha Mahya shampada orajo abhishekam nishkinchinanam navrinita yavat. One has to accept guru, one has to find spiritual teacher who is nishkinchinanam. He is completely detached. He doesn't have any more material interests, and he's completely attached to Krishna. That's, of course, the best possible guru you can find. But if he's not available on the market, the guru market, then we have to find somebody who is as close as possible to this standard. You know, sometimes people are they think, unless I find somebody was telling me recently that he had this idea. Unfortunately, this idea was corrected. Unless you find somebody like Prabhupada, you know, you will never accept guru. But then there was one guru who he revealed his mind to this guru, and this guru told him, well, if you're looking for somebody like Prabhupada on the same level, you might very well just not find in your lifetime somebody like Prabhupada. Prabhupada is unique, so you have to accept the best possible option. Be practical. And okay, so when we accept Guru and approach him in a proper mood, as it is described in the Shastra, then what will be the result? Everybody, I mean, most devotees, they know this verse. We just quoted this verse from Bhagavad Gita 4:34. Tad vidi pranipatena pariprasthana sevaya. One should render service to the Guru and ask intelligent questions with a humble attitude. Then the result will be, the next verse, Krishna says, the result will be that yach gyatva napunar moham, there will be no more moha or illusion. Because the disciple will understand that all living entities belong to Krishna and they are mine. Krishna says they are drakshasi atmano atomai. You, drakshasi, will see that they are actually mine. So this is the result. We will not be anymore in illusion because we will perceive this material universe and everything inside as energy of Krishna. So if we approach the Guru with the proper mood, then he will be, as it is described in next purport, if the son is unreservedly willing to be guided by the father is 10 times more eager to instruct and guide him by all means. When we are humble, sincerely, and we approach the Guru and surrender, then naturally the Guru is very merciful. So Prabhupada says, you make one step to Krishna, he makes 10 steps towards you. So that's the same principle here. And if we have improper attitude, then even if we are materially very qualified, then the Guru is not enthusiastic to give us knowledge. Why? Because we're not qualified. What are you going to do with this knowledge? There is one of the offenses against the holy name, you don't instruct faithless people. So if we're not qualified, then we will not get the blessings. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that amanitvam adambitvam, this is the beginning of knowledge, being humble and free of pride. You know, these movies, sometimes there is a young boy and he's very enthusiastic to learn martial arts. So he goes to martial arts school, some dojo. Sometimes he goes to some monastery. And then what happens there? Let's say they accept him. And what they do with him? They just give him the menial service. No, he thinks, now, from tomorrow they're going to train me and I'll become great warrior. No, they give him the broom and the rack and they tell him, okay, it's now start cleaning. And he cleans the whole day. And then it goes on for weeks and months, sometimes years. And the cliche usually, he goes finally to the main, to his guru, and he's like, when I'm going to start learning martial arts? And then they tell him, you're already learning, because right now you're acquiring the proper qualities, the virtues, the proper qualification. It's part of the process. So in other words, the mood is more important than the knowledge and the skills. Knowledge and skills we can acquire relatively easy in short time, for a few months or maybe few years. Usually it's 6 months, and you acquire the skills that are needed for most of the jobs on the market. 6 months, 1 year. Usually what happens? People pay so much money to get a college degree, to go to university, and then the people who actually hire them, they look at the degree as a proof, not that he's qualified or she's qualified to do the job, because in school they don't necessarily teach you how to practically work, but for them it's a proof that, okay, this person, he is smart and reliable and trustworthy and intelligent enough so that I can, for 6 months, train him up in what I need him to do in my job. That's what the degree is required. I mean, of course, unless you're like a lawyer or doctor or engineer, but most cases. So the mood is more important, because with the proper mood we'll be easily trained by the Guru. And Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, he says, Dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mamupyantite. If we have the proper mood, then Krishna will personally, also from within our heart, he will reveal the knowledge required. So modern contemporary culture is fascinated by knowledge and skills, but this is not the most important thing. You can consider if, let's say somebody is cooking lunch for you, and then he cooks the lunch, then he brings, and let's say the lunch is okay, it's tasty even, and he brings it, serves, then he washes the dishes, cleans out the kitchen, but the mood is not proper. you see that this person actually doesn't like what he's doing. He's doing grudgingly. So what we'll do? We'll just find somebody else who may be not so good in cooking, but he has proper mood, and gradually he'll be trained. Or he might say, I'll cook more for myself. I don't need you. So we shouldn't approach the guru with such attitude. So here in the next verse, in the next purport, it states, without reservation. We approach the guru without reservation. That means we are ready to do whatever he tells us to do. And if we have reservation in our heart, that means we are not ready. If he tells us, so we are like we have our own agenda. Okay, if he tells me do this and this, I may agree. But if he tells me to do this, no, that's too much. So this is with reservation, and this is not proper. Of course, this is high level. We usually have some impurities in our hearts still, but we should know the standard. In Bhagavatam, there is explanation why are we having these reservations. Bhayam dvitiyani biniveshatasyat ishat apetasya viparyo smriti. We think that we have separate interests from Krishna and from the Guru. We think that's me and that's Krishna. So I have my interest, Krishna has his own interest, and there is no necessarily a correlation between them. So I have to protect my own interest. And then this leads to bhaya, fear, because we understand that our plan will not happen actually. So what's the solution? Bhagavatam explains we have to understand that Krishna and the spiritual master are our true well-wishers, and we have to try to serve them wholeheartedly, without reservation. That means we have to have faith in the authority. And that's a big topic, it's a big problem, because in Kali Yuga, the authorities are, since long time, they are kind of abusive. Therefore, people don't like authority. And who is the first authority, you know? The first guru. No. Well, in a sense, of course, Krishna is. This is the answer of all questions. Krishna, but in this human birth, when we take birth, who is the first guru? Parents, and amongst them, who is the first guru? The mother. Okay, so the mother, the father, these are the authority figures, and then the teacher at school, the senior members of the family. So therefore, it's so important to have good families, because if the relationship is not good with the authority at home, let's say you have problems with your father, and then usually these people, they have problems with any type of authority figure later on. They have problem in school, then if they are interested in spiritual life, they'll have some problem with their temple president or their guru, the senior devotees, and ultimately with Krishna, because Krishna is the ultimate authority. So it's very unfortunate. If we don't have faith in authority, then our progress will be difficult, because that's how it happens. Srila Prabhupada explains in one purport in Bhagavad Gita, that's the whole secret of Krishna consciousness. You have to satisfy the spiritual master. And the spiritual master is not just the Diksha Guru. The Guru is also the Shiksha Guru, the senior devotees. Chaitanya Charitamrita explains that we have to have the same level of respect for Shiksha and Diksha Guru. So it's not just our initiating spiritual master and everybody else is just, we don't care about these people. That's not, this is sign of neophyte devotee. So faith in authority. This is the main thing that is learned in the Gurukula. When the boys go to the Gurukula, most basic training that they get is that they have to follow authority, because by following authority they learn everything else. All the good qualities will appear. Bhagavatam says, Tasmat guru prapadyata jigyasum shreyam uttamam shabda parachanishnatam brahmani hyupasham ashrayam. Therefore one should approach the spiritual master and ask him about jigyasum shreyam. That means inquiries about absolute good shreya. Because, and then there are the descriptions of the qualifications of the guru. He's, again, he doesn't have any material interests. He's detached from material pursuits. Nothing to gain there. He's materially exhausted, as Prabhupada explains. And he is completely attached to Krishna. We have to approach the Guru in humble attitude, because we are at the bottom, you know, this triangle, we are here. We have to climb up all the way. So our position is precarious. So we have to please our authorities. It's a very bad combination if you are unqualified, neophyte, and pride, and have pride also at the same time. So you are unqualified, but you think you're very qualified. It's a very bad combination. Okay, Hare Krishna. That's all I wanted to say. Some questions or comments? Hare Krishna.
Is the mood connected to what they say when you fall from that spiritual thought or that spiritual level to Maya, and just constantly having this back and forth where you can have a change of mood, and that's why it brings you back and forth, in a sense?
Yeah, yes. What I meant is the general mood, but of course the mood can change. Sometimes we are in a good mood, sometimes we're in a bad mood. Yes. Therefore, we should try to understand, to imbibe the mood of our Guru. It's so important. Not just the knowledge and skill. Like you can perform arati for Radha Govinda, or cook for them, or clean the temple, and you may perform this activity properly, but the mood should be also proper. Because this is the most important element. Anything else will follow naturally. If you have the proper mood, you get the proper training and you learn how to do things. But the mood takes time. It's more difficult to cultivate. Therefore, in Gurukula traditionally, the main focus on the Gurukula education is developing a proper character, qualities. That takes more time than just learning a few things, few tricks how to do. So yes, it can go up and can go down. This was your question, right? Okay. Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Pramanande.